Hey everyone, so welcome to my next build here, one that I'm really excited about. I mean, I'm always excited about them, I guess, but this one particularly is really something I'm looking forward to. It's the Space 1999 CommLock and stun gun set. I noticed this like last year, this sort of the prototype that sort of the blanks that the MPC puts out well in advance of the model actually coming out. And as soon as I saw it, I knew that it was something that I really wanted. When I was a youngster, of course, Space 1999 was something certainly that me and my buddies definitely watched. We especially loved the CommLock. The fact it had a little video screen on it was really spectacular in the day. Yeah, it's well, we sort of, obviously we're big Star Trek fans as well, and they had a communicator, but they didn't have a screen on it. That was really just seemed so high tech and so futuristic. Such a small little neat screen like that. So anyway, it's kind of almost, and we used to make little cardboard versions of this CommLock. And that was the sort of little thing of choice that we had, and so so this is kind of almost coming really full circle, being able to actually make a nice sort of replica of that, and I'm going to try obviously to get it as realistic as I can, so that's just a lot of fun. Anyway, really excited. I have not opened this even. It's still in the cellophane, and part of me wants to just like preserve it in that, but of course it's going to be hard to build it if I don't open it. Okay, plastic off. So let's just break it in here. So there's not a ton of parts, which I guess isn't too surprising. I mean, they're not, it's pretty straightforward pieces. So you can see the main body of the CommLock, and then some additional parts, number pad, little screen, some of the buttons here, and then this is actually for the stun gun. There's a lot of chrome, or obviously some chrome parts there that'll go into the stun gun, and then that's all stun pieces. So really pretty straightforward. It's all going to be in the finishing here. And here's the clear pieces. So that's the view screen there, and then so we'll be wanting to be very careful with that, not to scratch that up. And then let's just have a look here. Oh, so exciting. There we go. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. That just kind of makes me all kinds of happy there. So yeah, this is just beautiful. This is, so this will go scan this right away here. And so if I did ever need to print this out for any reason, need to go back, then we can always do that. So what else do we got going here? Let's have a look here. So MPC, they always have fairly straightforward, really straightforward instructions here. Is that around for a second? And there's the CommLock on this side. Yep. And it looks like there's lots of room in here, so I am planning on doing some lighting of this kit. Here we go. This kit was engineered with a removable back to allow access for custom lighting, so we're absolutely definitely going to be doing some lighting. Really simple. It's all going to be in getting the finish, the colors and the finish as accurate and as good as we can get it. And then the lighting, of course, is something I want to spend time on. One of the things I got to decide here right away is that chrome finish. So I'm gonna have to do some research here. My recollection is chrome is not quite what I don't want to say for sure. I don't want to say for sure, but I will do some research. If indeed they were chrome, then of course no problem. If they were chrome, that's what we're going with. If they weren't, then we'll be stripping this chrome off, and we'll be getting a finish that's more appropriate to whatever whatever it actually was. So just about to put these guys into the bleach. So I have this is actually fairly highly concentrated bleach, which is just what I like to use for this kind of thing. So I'll just get all these guys in here right now. Decided they're all going to go in. So let's just get them going. There. So we'll leave that overnight, and that'll going into the bleach bath. It actually might not even take all night. It's actually surprisingly quick. How fast that'll take that, but certainly by tomorrow morning, I'll have nice clean pieces that we can work with. Yeah, so I'm just getting this prepped here a little bit. So I know that that's going to come in there a little bit smoother anyway. I'll file that down there and get it proper. Yeah, so normally just file a little bit first with kind of the 400 here. Lovely. Yeah, for sure. Because it's the same color, I want it to be consistent. That might as well be painted with that piece. So let me just take this out of the tree here. For sure. And this actually does work out because you can see, it's like it's always going to happen a little bit where it's not a perfect. And so it did come a little bit on the upper surface. And so if this had been painted and we cut that out after, it's just not going to be as nice of a line. As you might have noticed, a bit of a perfectionist on some of these things. It would probably bother me. And then this piece I'll want out of here as well, because you can see clearly there's edge pieces that those will definitely be divots against here. They're going to have to come out. So let's just remove that right now. Great. That's awesome. Yeah. I just love it so much. Really great. Okay, and then those are getting out that, so that's a nice little sprue tree just for painting, direct, so no worries there. Guys, so just getting set now. I've just finished the black primer, and I'm now been shaking and getting ready the white and the gray. I'm going to be laying down the gray on the parts that are getting our silver, and I'll be laying down the white on the CommLock and all the pieces, and obviously pieces that are white. There's some white buttons. Really love this primer. Just it works well for me because I do tend also to do a lot of taping and a lot of like the way that this really holds, and that it's an acrylic and such a powerful acrylic primer is great. You can see all the chrome kind of particles kind of I don't know if you can see that. Actually, it's kind of neat looking. They're just kind of dangling in the water. You can kind of see the little precipitate pieces in there. Anyway, kind of neat. Hey guys, so yeah, so just got these guys rinsed off. As I say, they look really great. They all came really clean here. The only one that's got a little bit, it's not really a big problem. And if I'm really concerned about it, this was a piece that I won't need until a bit later. So if depending on when I'm going to do this painting, I might put that one just back in for a little more of a bath. Guys, so just had these guys back in. I sanded down and refinished. Remember, I had a little bit of a cat hair that landed in here, and so that's all gone, and relaid down the gloss on that, and did the edges as well, so now they're nice and smooth. I did have there was a small defect on one of the edges, so we got rid of that, so really happy. The gloss coat looks great, and I repaired this one as well. There was another little defect, not sure what that was in there. Anyway, sanded that out and refinished it as well, so we're good to go on all the gloss. So I'm going to be laying down the aluminum here in just a little bit this morning, and yeah, excited about that. This is a kind of a slow process. I think if you've watched any of my videos and I've used these, I really love them. But you do have to be, just patient, lay down sort of light coats and just kind of let them, I do a little bit of just air dry between coats with the brush, just with no paint coming out, and then just lay down another light coat, and I'll kind of just go through these, just patiently doing that, rather than trying to lay down heavy coats. I just find that is, just works better if you try to lay down heavy coat. The color, I don't find that the colors come out as true, and also there's some risk of, as with any paint, can run too if you try to just get it too. It's a little bit thinner than some paints you might be used, especially some Vallejo paints you might be used to. Hey guys, so just quick update here. I did do the painting here with my aluminum, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. The colors really perfect. You can see just hopefully you can see anyway, the sort of that brushed aluminum look is just really, really nice. Big improvement for me over the chrome. It's really, I think, accurate too. If you look at the actual, any of the sort of on-screen photos and everything that we've got close up, this is pretty good match for the color, I think. So that's excellent. So this is, they're just drying here. This Vallejo silver is dry really quickly, but they do talk about, they don't actually say it on here, but if you go to their site, the Vallejo site on this particular product, they do talk about, yes, 5 minutes dry, which is great, but they ask to give it about 12 hours before you do any kind of masking or really any kind of aggressive work with it. So, I'll be waiting till quite a bit later tonight here to do that, to give it that 12 hours. So just did a little bit of painting here a bit earlier tonight. Both the sort of red / orange or vermilion red clear piece, and if you recall, I decided to kind of go with the more opaque version. I just went straight with this guy. And did it on the inside, and so and then on the outside I did this one, so that gives us sort of that look, and then I'll just gloss that one. I'll put a gloss coat on that. I think that color is really good, at least the reference I'm looking at, it's pretty good. In fact, the reference sometimes even looks more orange, but I mean, certainly can look kind of red too in certain lights, and so I think we kind of captured that. This is a very, very, well, in fact, it's called red. It's just so orange that it really looks orange too. But I think that's a really good thing I did with this green. I took the transparent, I halved it in terms of its by just adding half clear, and then I added a few drops of white to it. So this got it just a lighter shade of green, which is what we wanted. It is a fairly light green, and in fact maybe even could have gone a little greener, certainly according to the box, but I think the reference photos, it just looks about the right depth of green. It might have even been slightly darker. So again, finding that middle ground between what is maybe the perceived kind of color of these things and what does look like the actual, at least the hero version, what it might have looked like there. So but yeah, really, really happy with that green. I feel that's worked out great. You can't even, and so you'll see that it's quite opaque, even though it looks kind of transparent-ish, which is that look that we wanted, because otherwise we'd see the yellow tape underneath there, and we certainly don't see anything like that. So let's actually, yeah, you can see that worked out really, really quite great. Really, kind of a big fan of that. Guys, so just a quick update. So I'm really happy with how the sort of orange / red / vermilion red button has turned out here. So you can see that it's, or maybe you can see, it's got a nice shine, just like the green one that we wanted, which was this guy, remember, that we did earlier tonight. And so based on that, I decided to go use a similar approach. So created a color a lot like that, but just in my vermilion color. And you can notice that it's what I kind of like, and you can barely see it, but just in certain angles, we still have our darker vermilion red on the underside, and so kind of Sometimes you kind of catch that, and I just sort of like the way that looks. I don't know how much you'll see once it's up in, I don't think there's a ton that shows up. But in any case, it's kind of a neat effect, and really happy about that. I think it looks great. The combo that I ended up using for that is here. Sorry for the mess. So that's 6 drops of the X27, which is the red, half a mil of X26, which is the orange, half a mil of X22, which is just clear, or sorry, where's my clear? X22, just clear, shiny, clear, and then 4 drops of white, just to add that opaqueness, because I don't want it to be, I don't want it to directly, that's one of the keys we did here too, to just, it's translucent, but not enough that I can see into the device, and so I think that's the right effect. So pretty happy with that. And remember, I think this compares really well with the other sort of vermilion red piece, which again, and I'll put up maybe a picture there of the actual original CommLock. And you can see that the one on the side is a slightly darker version of that sort of orangey light, and so I think I'm pretty happy with where that's ended up. I'll obviously put a little bit of gloss on that to just make it pop a little bit, but color-wise, I think we're set. And there's just, I didn't use all of it. There's the color there that this produced, and great result. I'm really happy with that, guys. So just working on. Tonight here, making the darker sort of gray color on the CommLock, and I had already tried another version of it here, even though the picture on the box does look very much, it's pretty close to black, but anyway, but it isn't, and so. But this isn't quite right. I got it laid down, and it was close, but not blue enough. It's kind of too green still. And so what I'm going to do is actually, the original formula was just the 4:1 ratio of X53, which is this gray, which is pretty good, but it's not quite right. It's the neutral gray with just XF1 to darken it a little bit. I think the darkness is okay here, but not quite the right color. So I'm going to be adding an equal portion, so 411 of XF8. It's also on these 2 sections of the CommLock itself, the dividing sections, and so I'll respray those with the bluer version of that as well here, and so we'll have all those 3 matching areas. So I'm going to make a pretty good batch. So probably going to do, what I'll do is do 2 mils here, and then that means that I'll do half mil of both the black and the blue, so 2 mils of this guy. We should get our sort of darker gray with a little bit of that sort of more bluey tone here than the tan or the yellowy. Yeah, it's coming out nice. Good. I'm just going to add the 3. I always have to thin, or I do anyway, have to thin my to-me paints 1:1 ratio here. So I'm just going to grab 3 mils of this. I'll just So just sprayed the very light tan color on that little cluster of 4 buttons, and 3 of them are the white that I've already done, and then now that just laid down the XF55 for the 1. So I'm just going to I think next look at doing the light white for this one, and this is extremely light. In fact, it's kind of just really sort of like clear actually, but I mean obviously it can't be completely clear because well, number one, I can see green coming through here, which I don't want because because of the transparency. So I do want a little bit of just just add a little bit of clear opaqueness is what I'm hoping for. Okay, so out of the booth, and I love it. That exact mixture, so that just that little quarter mil with just a drop of white, and you can see it just gave us that. It's still kind of clear, but it's enough covered. Let me I'm just going to do it all in one piece. Try and get that as centered as we can in there. It's pretty much exactly that size, but still, still it's possible to kind of go up on an edge or what have you. So you just want to make sure that we're getting it, centered in there. Hey guys, so quick update. I have decided to actually lighten the color. So although I think it's really close, I do think just having looked kind of really looking at it carefully last night, that it's just a little too dark. And so I'm going to be adding a bit of white to it. And then I'm also feel like it could just use just a touch more yellow to get it just a little bit warmer. So let's just grab that up then. 2 mils of this guy. Okay. So that's our XF20. It's great. 2 mils of our white, which is XF. What is that, XF1 or 2? 2. One is black. It's one or the other. So XF2. And then I'm just going to mix those first here. Some drops of yellow. Now I'm going to actually, I know I said 5, but I'm actually going to just add 2 to start. I can always add more, so 2 there to start here. Yeah, that feels like plenty. Yeah, I don't think I want to go much more than that. So it's really not much of that. And then our X20, of course, is about 4 mils of that. So let's just grab our... Yeah, so there's a comparison. And I'm looking at the reference photos. And I'm going to hold it up against that. And I do think that's a closer, I think I'm just going to be a lot happier with that. I mean, it's basically the same color, just lighter and just a shade warmer. Not much. On this volume, 2 little drops, but yellow is a very potent color, so that's why I'm being very cautious with it. You don't need a lot, and it has an effect. So it's turned it browner because of that beigeier color. They're just adding that little bit. So I think we're good. We'll find out here. I'm gonna get it in the gun and put a coat down on this, and we'll see how I feel about it. So I'm just getting started on the little light box that I'm going to be building up at the top to essentially hold the light strip that I'm going to be putting in. And that will kind of backlight the view screen that we're going to have and be able to view. So that's the goal here. What I've got, the strip that I'm going to do is this one here, And so it's just a little, essentially 6 LEDs that are kind of going to go around the box, the circumference of it, kind of like that, kind of shining in, not upwards. And so there'll be kind of lots of light just flooding, and we'll get should get a fairly ambient sort of nature. And I am going to put just a little thin layer of polystyrene, white polystyrene, just above the box as well, so that should diffuse any even angle look at those lights. I'm just going to measure that out right now. Sort of be thick enough to contain this, so I know in terms of thickness that I want it really to comfortably fit it really 1 centimeter there. So that's the first thing when we think about this box that's going to be coming in here, that it's 1 centimeter thick. That's exactly 35. So the outside that we want. The actual side for our box now that we want to do then is 35, 33. 35 by 33. Okay. And we know that it's 1 centimeter thick. So that gives us essentially the dimensions of the little box that we want. And that 1 centimeter is the opening. So our little, on the bottom side, the bottom slab of the polystyrene will sit underneath the 1 centimeter. Now I have just a little set of odds and ends polystyrene that I just use for various things. Okay. $35. Okay, so I think actually what I'm going to do right away here is just get this glued together, and at least get it started there. Once we have it glued together, then we can start doing the blocking and do a bunch of other stuff. Because I want this to be pretty solid, I'm just going to use my trusty old reliable testers here to build this box. It's what I like about this one is it's pretty, number one, it's going to be very solid. It's going to make a really solid connection. But number two, it has a little bit of working time, which will be sort of nice here, because we do need just a little bit of time to kind of get it together. But yet it's not that long. It'll kind of set up pretty quickly here. We'll be able to have it together in no time. So first thing I'm just going to do is stand these guys up here. Good. So let's just add in a little bit along our seams here. And I'm actually going to add it on both sides here. We'll be adding more probably on the other side. This is a nice part about this particular glue, for those that haven't already seen some of my work with this glue. Is that it actually has light blocking properties as well, so it has a double purpose here for us. Actually, it's the first coat of light blocking. Yeah, these are really thin. This is just 0.25 millimeters, so this is more what we're looking for, is to have something this thin, and it looks like that. And you can see just how thin that is. It's kind of wafer thin. And so this will be nice because it'll give us that, so we'll cut it out to be the same size, this 35 by 33. Just grab a cutting block. There. So that gives us our little, yeah, that's the little diffusion kind of plate. The for the switch I'm going to use, I think I've decided, and we can see here with the box the way it's going to be mounted up against here, I'll have lots of room. Just a little bracket will come out there that will have the switch that this button will push against the switch to turn the light on. It's going to be, this is my switch I use here. So it's just a little micro switch that, what's nice about this one, it'll be able to, so I'll be able to turn the light on and not have to touch anything. The light will stay on until I turn it off by doing that. So it's a kind of two-way switch, and so that'll just be sitting in here. Let me just make sure that's going to fit there. Yep, that'll come in just beautifully underneath there. So, oops. Just like that. So it'll be kind of sitting in against there like that. So you can see that's going to be pretty much perfect, and then that button will just be able to push in there and depress that. And yeah, we should be in business for getting the light to come on and off. And what it allows me is that by just having it like this, these pieces can come out. That won't be glued in. That's something that can be pulled out, and then you'll be able to access, if anything happened to these lights, you'll be able to replace the light strip in here. I'm just going to use, I have a little connector set here, and so I'll use that on the light strip on either side here. They kind of come in a male and a female pair, and then with that we'll be able to I'll have just a short lead here inside the box that will go to the light strip, and then this one will actually plug and come out and go down into the battery. But that way, just within this box, it can be glued into place, and I'll just be able to unplug that right within the box and tape the strip out and put in a new one if I needed. Again, it's very unlikely that anything would go wrong, but it's just nice to know that if it did, it's easy enough to replace the light bulbs there. How far does that? Oh. You know what it is? It's this top part here is banging against that. Just barely. So what I could do to work around that is just make a little clip there. The other thing I can do is check to see. Let me check something here. Oh yeah, that's what it's actually going to clip into. Interesting. So it is required there. Yep. So you can see how that's actually going to, you know, this part clips on there. Now, it does beg the question. I mean, if I put a little dab of glue in there, that's not going anywhere, especially if I was to glue on the bottom side here. And it's not like I ever need to remove that. It can be permanently affixed there. So I really actually don't think I need that top clip, really. That can be easily glued into place here. Yeah, so we'll just take this guy out here. So just line it up there like that. I'm going to do it in two pieces. There first. And then there like that. There we go. No, that's perfect. That works great. Awesome. Okay, so that's easy.